Akademiks, check it out now. Oh shit, these slick motherfuckers. The old trickaroo, people. Okay, he reached for his waist, so I shot the motherfucker. Now, that's the favorite line of any cop, okay? When they need to beat a case, when they need to get off or have a reason for why they bust their guns, okay? Usually it's out of fear, but you know how they could always escape it? Well, I was in fear. Not because I was going against some big black Negroes, it was because I saw that they were about to pull out a gun, so I shot them first. That always flies, and to be honest, look at most of the police brutality cases, that's why most of these motherfuckers beat the case. Now, let's actually examine this whole thing, because I got some additional insight. I talked to the person that got arrested yesterday, okay? I talked to Shotti. By the way, if you don't know Shotti, he's the guy who they used to call Treyway. By the way, Treyway is now a record label, but the term Treyway came from a gang, which is the 9 Trey Bloods out of New York. Now, Shotti and 6ix9ine, they're hella cool. They're homies. They're hella cool, right? Now, beyond that, people call him 6ix9ine's manager. To what we know, he's not officially 6ix9ine manager, but he also deals with business for 6ix9ine. He's a whole CEO for his own entity, which is Treyway Entertainment, okay? 6ix9ine is not signed to Treyway Entertainment, even though he's affiliated and even though those are his homies. Now, I'm hoping I'm kind of clearing some confusion up, because that is mandatory to understand why it gets confusing in this next part. So let's rewind. The court case happened with 6ix9ine. He gets 4 years of probation. And basically, the judge says, yo, you can't hang around with no more gang members. Okay? Now, you got to realize in most cities, most states, they know who the gang members are, even if you ain't wearing colors and banging every day. When they arrest people, they have aliases. They know gang affiliations. That's how they keep people safe in jail and also categorize people out of jail that they could make their investigations supposedly go more smoother. Yes, they profile motherfuckers, okay? Now, they know who has gang ties around 6ix9ine. And probably they're watching 6ix9ine to see if he's going to hang around with those people because they told him not to. Anyway, 6ix9ine goes from court to go have a goddamn dinner, supposedly with family and friends, and also his label people were there, except, surprisingly, the label people tell security, yo, certain people cannot come in. Now, is that because of what was said in court? Is that because, hey, it's just a change of, like, strategy for 6ix9ine? Because you remember, he was hanging with all gang members at one point. Now, the whole situation with him getting robbed, he has scaled it back. He only hangs with a couple of them now. Then the judge says you can't hang out with nobody, period. Maybe the label people who are usually straight edge is saying, hey, the goddamn judge just said it. We're obeying their laws. Anyway, regardless of that, 6ix9ine and his bodyguards, quote unquote, he's allowed to go in, his bodyguards isn't. Now, this is where shit gets a little weird. And I'm going to give the account of Shotti because actually I talked to him and I don't know if he's right or wrong, but he did give a counter argument because I talked to him and I said, listen, why on earth would y'all be fighting with the police? Okay? Now, of course, retired and off-duty cops work security for a lot of people. And in the case of the label people, yes, it was retired cops. But this is what he said to me. And by the way, if you don't know, the latest update is that he turned himself in today, or actually yesterday, and he was charged with 2 felonies. An attempt to commit crime of the assault in the first degree, and also second-degree gang assault. Now, this was his side of the story. He said, yo, check it out, man. We are doing business, okay? We protecting 6ix9ine, also 6ix9ine's the homie. He says, if we are bringing 6ix9ine from court to a location to go meet up with some motherfuckers to have dinner, it then confuses everybody, including 6ix9ine, when we are not allowed to enter the restaurant. Not at all. Not that we were trying to like have some group dinner. We weren't allowed to enter the premises at all. Now, that was by design, supposedly, of the off-duty cops or the retired cops. And then he then says to me, and by the way, I'm only positioning this argument that y'all could say is full of shit, or y'all could say, okay, does kind of sound a little fishy. Now, after that, right, he says, yo, let's think about if these guys weren't cops, even though you can't analyze the situation without realizing that the people who did the shooting were cops, because if it weren't cops, it wouldn't go the other way. But let's do it for a second. He says, in what circumstance in New York State would somebody be justified to pull out a gun and shoot somebody, especially if there's no imminent danger? Okay, a fist fight, at least in New York. This ain't Florida where you got like stand your ground rules and all that. If you're not in a life or death situation and you're pulling out your gun to shoot somebody, That's a problem. Also, if we look at the statement that was said by the cops, the off-duty cops that pulled out the gun and shot the homies or security guards of 6ix9ine, they say, yo, well, if you think about it, they said somebody in the entourage reached for a gun, so they felt the threat. Except they found no gun. Okay? On top of that, they shoot somebody in 6ix9ine's entourage, and everybody in 6ix9ine's entourage / security group, they get arrested. So for them, and this is on behalf of like Shotti, they're like, yo, this is like some civil rights shit. They are actually using the fact that they've been cops, they're more believable, okay, and trying to put a case and absolve a man from shooting someone when in reality, the retired cop should be the one arrested, okay? Now, you could go either way with this because if you read the reports, who knows? It might even be justifiable for niggas to pull out their guns and shoot when you hear that a security guard gets hit in the head with a chair like it's Stone Cold Steve Austin, okay? At some point, you might be able to make a good argument and say, I'm in fear of my life after I just seen one nigga get hit in the head with a chair and he passes out and they're hitting me and I might pass out. I had to bust off, regardless of what it is. 6ix9ine's associate / manager, whatever you want to call him, Shotti, he turned himself in. I believe he'll be bailed out shortly if he hasn't been already. However, he was indicted on 2 felonies, which is a big deal. Which, I mean, to also be honest and be blunt and be frank, you know, if you are the person that is continuing or carrying on a part of this Treyway brand or this brand that 6ix9ine is associated with, you cannot be in the fights. You have to have other niggas that do that. You can't be the person who's scrapping. Just like if 6ix9ine's fighting, you got to look at a security team and say, what are y'all doing? Right? So to be honest, whether Shotti is in the right or wrong, he's probably also in the wrong position that he's even tangled or mentioned in this whole indictment at all. So it's a lot to be considered, but you have to also think about this angle, okay? For whatever reason, the label, they ain't want no parts of them gang niggas in that dinner with 6ix9ine. Do they have a point? The judge just said, don't hang out with them, okay? And also, 6ix9ine is his own man. He will make his own choice. But as well, they are the people who have been keeping him safe. Very convoluted, very complex, but we'll see what it is. What do you guys think, man? Get a comment box, make sure you guys like them, subscribe, your boy Akademiks.